There are multiple reasons why silver has spiked up above $52 an ounce, but one of the biggest reasons is some news that just broke earlier today about North America's largest precious metals trading desk. We'll get into what's going on with silver as we explore. There's so much news happening, it's very difficult to keep up, and I post a lot of content on this platform, but nonetheless, silver spiking up and exploding up 4.4% today is absolutely amazing to see that silver is now trading at record highs, $52.22 right now as I record this video, moments before the markets close. I'm going to tell you about what all the other metals are doing as well, but we're not going to just talk about the largest precious metals trading desk in North America, but we're starting to see big coin shops around the country suspend sales. This just happened earlier today by Brian Kuzmar. He has suspended temporarily all silver sales at his company, Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. This has never happened to him ever, not even back in 1980. And the reasons are that he cannot hedge, he cannot find product, and he cannot figure out what premiums to charge. It's crazy. And then he gives some sage advice, which I have been giving on this channel for a long time. Don't sell. That's right. Hold on to your silver, folks. And this is the time to hold. And this is also the time to have some of these so that you can hold your silver. And if it means stacking less of this, then yes, have some of this on hand because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, these high prices come with some drawbacks as well as benefits, which is why I always encourage you to shop around, to know what's going on in the market, and this channel acts as one service to be able to give you some of the latest news. Now, it is sponsored by a bullion dealer, Summit Metals. They will buy your precious metals from you, and they're still buying silver. But nonetheless, you know, who knows? There's a lot happening. But check out Summit Metals when you get a chance. Just peruse their website, experience their great customer service and fast shipping. The link is in the description below. So let's get into what's going on here in a general sense with the market, and then I'll talk a little bit more about what happened with this precious metals trading desk shutting down temporarily at least. Bloomberg is reporting that silver has hit its highest in decades as an historic short squeeze in London intensifies, with a fresh surge in prices adding urgency to a worldwide hunt for bullion that could alleviate this mismatch between demand and supply. Spot silver climbed as much as 3.7% above $52 an ounce, but that was so hours ago. It is literally 4.32% increase today, up $2.16 to $52.17. It got up as high as $52.26 earlier. And gold is also rocketed up 2% today, up $91.80 to $4,110.20. Platinum and palladium are also going crazy, especially palladium. It's up 5.5% now, up $76 a day to $1,500 an ounce. Palladium is also up almost 2% today, $1,633 there. It's crazy. Now, gold is trading at $4,100 plus, building on a record-breaking run of 8 weekly gains. And platinum and palladium, as we talked about, jumping up dramatically here. What an amazing day. Concerns about a lack of liquidity in London drove silver closer to that $52.50 an ounce record high from 1980. Of course, that is in the futures complex. That was not the actual spot price in 1980. It actually never reached $50 back then. But, you know, this is just a nominal high right now. It's not adjusted for inflation. I need to remind you of that. Silver still has quite a long ways to go before it reaches that mark. But still, this is something to celebrate. There's something going on. And as what I've just talked about with that coin shop is this is unprecedented. And it's now a defunct contract that we saw that back in 1980, the Chicago Board of Exchange trade benchmark prices in London have soared to near unprecedented levels over New York, prompting some traders to book cargo slots on transatlantic flights for silver bars, an expensive mode of transport typically reserved for gold, to profit off higher prices in London. The premium was about $1.60 an ounce on Monday, Silver lease rates, which represent the annualized cost of borrowing metal in the London market, surged to more than 30% on 1 month basis. That was happened last Friday, creating eye-watering costs for those looking to roll over short positions. Lease rates in gold and palladium also tightened, signaling a broadening bull in London's bullion reserves, following a rush to ship metal to New York earlier this year because of the fear of tariffs. The silver market is less liquid and roughly 9 times smaller than gold's, amplifying the price moves, Goldman Sachs Group Inc. analyst wrote in a note. Without a central bank bid to anchor silver prices, even a temporary pullback in investment flows could trigger a disproportionate correction, as it would also unwind the London tightness that drove much of the recent rally. So we'll see. Now, it's something. Now, central banks have actually flirting now with potentially having some skin in the game with regards to silver, but that hasn't happened for a long time. We'll see if they do that. The 4 main precious metals have surged between 55% and 82% this year. That would be platinum, and maybe right now it could be palladium, in a rally that's dominated commodity markets. Gold's advance has been underpinned by central bank buying, rising holdings in exchange-traded funds, and rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. Demand for havens has also been aided by recurrent U.S.-China trade tensions, threats to the Fed's independence, and a U.S. government shutdown. Now, China also urged Washington to halt tariff threats and return to talks, warning it would retaliate if U.S. pressed ahead with new measures. Trump, who mooted an extra 100% tariff on Chinese goods last week, struck a more conciliatory tone in the weekend remarks. Now, we also look and see what's been going on with numbers that are not being reported because of the shutdown. Traders remain on edge ahead of the conclusions of the U.S. administration's so-called Section 232 probe into critical minerals, which includes silver as well as platinum and palladium. And I think those numbers will be coming out maybe within a week or so, or those decisions will be coming out later in the month to see if they're going to be adding to them. If the government opens up by then, we'll see. Fears that metals could be swept up in new levies have exacerbated market tightness, partly laying the foundations for a squeeze in silver after a major slow drawdown of freely available supplies in London. So it is going to be very interesting. And the COMEX in New York, silver futures jumped as much as 7% to a record $50.56 per ounce. The previous peak was set in 1980 at $50.35, according to a spokesperson for CME Group, which now owns the COMEX. So it'd be very interesting to see. Now, I think a lot of this is also being exacerbated by what has been reported from what is known as the StoneX Bullion's trading desk. That's North America's largest. It has shut down, and some posts by several over on the X platform. Silver Deegan is posting here that that it is the largest metals trading desk is closed. So we should buckle up for the retail, and we're starting to see others posting about this. James Anderson as well. Precious metals investors has seen temporary unavailability of StoneX Bullion's trading desk, which is the largest in North America, amid a silver short squeeze, pushing spot prices above $52 an ounce for the first time. This disruption shown from the client portal of a screenshot that says, that it's done, you can't get there. Overwhelmingly order volumes stems from overwhelming order volumes during today's 3.7% surge in the price of silver up to that point in time. And gold's climbed past $4,100, driven by U.S. trade tensions and rate cut expectations. In these scenarios, reduced liquidity can amplify price swings and delay executions for retail investors. This is reminiscent of what we saw back in 2022 when the London Metals Exchange was forced to shut down after nickel skyrocketed in price. That was the nickel squeeze that occurred then. It was crazy. This is reminiscent of that. So, folks, what we're seeing here is amazing, unprecedented, but likely will normalize at some point. It's going to open back up again. We're going to see what happens here, but we're following history in the making. This is another anomaly in a different way than 2011 and 1980. This time it is different, and it certainly is, and it's more reminiscent of what happened with nickel at this point in time back then. And if we saw what happened with nickel, it came back around too, but still. it's an interesting times we live in for sure. So we'll see how long it stays shut down. And of course, who knows, it may even be open by the time you watch this video again. But what I like to do on this channel is bring you the latest news and analysis in the world of precious metals. If you enjoy what I do here, I hope you will consider subscribing to the channel and pressing that thumbs up button and sharing the video among other social media platforms. And with that being said, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.